Good morning, world. Listen to that rain. So I'm going to get up and make a brew. Look at them tired eyes.
Breakfast on the go. Thank you, Wayfarer, for my suspicious eggs. On day 2 now of my hiking for calm for the campaign Against Living Miserably. Yesterday 33 miles, 30 miles today. I'm going to be walking to Hexham. Currently still sat in my tent. You can see I've packed all my gear up, but it is still raining this morning, so I thought I'd sit here and cook myself some breakfast. So I've got an all-day breakfast on the go, and I'm going to fill up my little cup with a nice cappuccino as well. So yeah, all going well. Thank you to everybody who's sponsored so far. £467 we're on now. Last night I said I'd love to get to 500 before the end of today's walk, so really not far to go. So if you haven't sponsored already, please click the link. It's for a great cause, campaign against living miserably. Suicide affects far too many families in this country, and we need to bring it to an end. If you're somebody at home alone, don't be feeling sad. Message me. I'll take you for a walk, because I promise you, nothing is better for your mental health than the outdoors. Thank you very much. Well, good morning everybody, and welcome to day 2 of my coast to coast along Hadrian's Wall, walking for campaign against living miserably. It's only just stopped raining. So last night I found a really wicked place to stop. Actually, I was looking for somewhere to wild camp along the wall, and there's not a lot of places in that first 30 miles, but then I come across this little farm, absolutely brilliant, right on the path. Like, I've just come out of the field now, it's right on the path. I'll show you. It's called Coombe Crag Campsite, and it is literally a couple of metres of a field right on the wall. And what she's got is it's just a farmhouse, and the national authority won't let her rent out a whole field, but she's got a little bit that she'll let you go on. She's got a portaloo in there and an honesty box. £7 I spent, and yeah, it was ideal. So, you know, you could use the toilet and stuff, but anyway, you can see the wall path behind me. So I'm going to go through the woods this morning, and it's looking a bit storm damaged in here, but yeah, it was a good night's sleep. Started raining, I think about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, bloody heavy as well. I managed to carry on sleeping. Oh, branches are falling down. I managed to carry on sleeping. Got up about 6 because I'd seen there was going to be a gap in the weather between 6 and half 7. So managed to make my breakfast, pack up all my gear and get going again. And I'll be honest, my tent was great, my sleeping bag was great, but I'm still sore this morning. My legs, my hips, my shoulders, everywhere where your rucksack's touching basically. And today's my least favourite kind of day for walking, in terms of it's rainy but it's not cold. So you've got to be layered up, so Gore-Texed up, which means I'm going to get sweaty as well, no doubt. But yeah, 30 miles today, heading towards Hexham. I'll show you what I can on the way, but it is supposed to be pretty horrendous weather, so I'll video as and when I can, because these DJIs do not like water. But look at these trees behind me, see how many have fallen? Incredible. But there you go. Whew. Actual Hadrian's Wall, look at that. What a beast! You didn't know what Hadrian's Wall was? 2,000-year-old structure the Romans built to keep a load of gingers out. Superb. Look at that. So walking along the road now, if I just move the camera to my side slightly, you should be able to see the wall. And I think I'm coming up to another turret as well, so I'll show you this. But yeah, here's Hadrian's Wall, or what's left of it. Still baffles me that the Romans 2,000 years ago built this bugger in 6 years in a straight line. Look, here's a turret. I'm just going to turn you around. Sorry to spin you, but it's the easiest way of showing you. And then look, another remains of a turret here. Just unbelievable, isn't it? You know, our governments can't achieve anything ever in any amount of time. Hadrian walked from Italy in a pair of sandals, got his lads to build a great big wall, and then sort of, you know, colonised Britain. Madness. And you can see the thickness of it there. All right, it's not got the height, but apparently it was 15 feet high. Can you imagine the sheer scale of work required to get that done? Unbelievable, really. And the fact that it's still in northern England. Madness. Absolutely madness. Excuse me. I'll be honest, the first mile of today was difficult. My legs have kicked in a little bit now. and the blood's flowing a bit, but whew, that first mile my body was stiff, man. What I've done today though, top tip, is I've got electrolyte powders and I've put it in my water bladder, so I've got like 3 litres of electrolyte basically that I'm going to sip on for the first sort of 10 miles and get my body kicking in again. Oh, I just hope this rain holds off and it changes into a nicer day so I can get my Gore-Tex off, because walking like a crisp packet's never fun, is it? And also, you might see that great big lime luminous thing behind me. I've even had to put the rain cover on my backpack, and I hate doing that. Why is it? Well, I know why it is. It's so you can be seen, I suppose, but why make a black backpack, which is cool, and then put a lime green cover on it? Just give me another black cover, man. Anyway, Osprey, other than that, your bags are wicked, especially the pouches that are crammed full of Yorkies, Kit Kats and Werther's Originals this morning, just to get me going. But I should be coming up to Burdeswald Fortress in a moment, so I'll show you when we get there, because this is one of the bigger fortresses along Hadrian's Wall. It's a museum as well. I'm not going to be stopping at the museum. I've visited it before, but I've simply not got time on this challenge. So as promised, we're going through Burdeswald now. You can see more of the wall behind me. Look at that height on that one. Now, it's too early in the morning for the fort to be open to the public, and I'm not going in anyway. But we will see a little bit of it as we go around now. This wind's picking up, man. The weather's really bad today. But yeah, we'll see a little bit of it as we go around now. But obviously you don't have to walk to this fortress, you can drive here if you wanted to just visit the fortress for the day. I'll show it you. You can see the sort of, what do you call it, like remains. Get to it in a second. I think it's a bit naughty, me. If you walk in the wall, you should be able to bloody visit all of it. Anyway, let me turn this camera around and you can see it. That's the fortress, but what's left of it. You can see the walls in the distance and the various foundations of buildings. But yes, that's Burdeswald Farm or Fort. But we're going to carry on. But I am going to layer up. I think this weather's taken a real turn. I'm going to get an hat on. Right, I shall see you shortly when I'm layered up. This is Burdeswald Farm. I can't get any closer because you have to pay to get in, and also it's not open at the minute. But you can see the foundations, and apparently this was a real big Roman fortress, and we're going to see more and more of these as we go along today. So I'm leaving Burdeswald Farm now, or Burdeswald Fort, sorry. And look at the wall on my left now. Incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible that it's still there. And as this walk progresses today on day 2, it just gets more and more impressive. Now, I don't know if you can see the peaks in front of me, but that's Steel Rig and Wall Shield Crags. And we're going to be going up them bloody 3 peaks today as well. So day two on Hadrian's Wall, if you're doing it in 3 days like I am, is by far the toughest challenge. Basically, the middle section is the only part with some seriously steep hills, but it's really cool. You can walk around it, but if you go up it, you see better parts of the wall because they've been untouched. But you also get to see where the Romans quarried all this stone from. Obviously, they didn't bring it from bloody Rome, did they? They had to quarry it. So you get to see all of that, really. So it's impressive. And once again, this weather's doing my bloody head in. I can't get my layering right at all today. It's cold, you put a layer on, you're too hot. You know, I need something in between a base layer and a mid layer. But yeah, but now when the wind picks up, you're glad you've got all the layers on again. And you know, I'm obviously generating heat with the sheer weight I'm carrying on my back and stuff. But yeah, pain in the arse day when it's like this. I mean, it probably doesn't help that I did 33 mile yesterday as well. I'm just looking around the landscape, sorry, and you can see these tips that I talked about yesterday. You know, where the Romans just made mad little hills of old slate and brick and shite. Incredible, really. Anyway, I must press on. Gilsland next stop. This is the first proper mile castle I've come to. Now, obviously there would have been one of these every mile, but they're not all still standing now. But this would have had barracks in it and all sorts of stuff. But that little path there leading out of the castle, That would have been the edge. That was the edge of the frontier. That path is leading into no man's land, into Scotland, or beyond the empire, so to speak. But we're not going to go beyond the empire. I'm going to follow the acorn and get back inside Rome. So I've reached Gilsland, and if you are going to do the walk and you go in the same route I am from Bowness to Wallsend, then there's a diversion in Gilsland. And what makes me laugh is it says temporary route diverted through village, which is fine, but it was a temporary diverted route 3 years ago when I did the route as well. So, you know, how temporary is temporary, really. And this pisses me off, to be quite honest, because national trails, in general, public rights of way in this country are shocking, and in states of shocking sort of repair, you know. Now, when we've got obesity as the biggest epidemic in our country these days, you know, the biggest threat to the NHS is not smoking anymore, it's fat people. You know, and what we need to be doing as a nation is encouraging people, not only for the physical health, but for the mental health, to get outside. And if the National Trust, the National Trails, and ultimately the Department for Health within the government can't be asked to make our outdoor spaces reachable and practical, then we're only going to get fatter, aren't we? So sort it out, people. And the other downside to this diversion through Gilsland is you miss a really good mile castle, which you can divert to. So when you're walking through Gilsland, you'll come to a pub called the Saracen's Head, I think it's called. And behind there, make sure you walk into their car park and go behind it. Hell of a mile castle, one of the best on the wall, and you completely miss it because of this diversion. And I only found it by accident. So make sure you see it if you do come this way. And if you work for the National Trail, get it bloody sorted. So I've now reached Thirlwall Castle, and Thirlwall Castle is in a town called, it's called Wallsend. And the reason it's called Wallsend, Wallstown, it's called Wallstown, this little place that I'm in, and it's because every building is made from the wall. So look, all these houses are all made from what was Hadrians. Funny, isn't it, really? National Trust say not to touch the wall in any way while you're walking along it, and these buggers have all got houses built of it. So I think I'll be rubbing some Roman bricks whenever I see them. Thank you very much. But that's a good shot there of the castle. I'll just show you now. Flip you around quickly. Look at that. Absolutely stunning here. So yeah, this is Wallstown. So once again, I've had to layer up into the waterproofs. Weather today is a pain in the ass. And I'm a bit gutted that I've had to layer up just as I'm about to start the hardest part of day 2, the centre part of the walk. I'll show you where I am now. This is the old quarry, Caulfield Quarry. We're going to go up here, you're going to go across Steel Rig, you're going to go across Windshields, and we're going to come down at Housestead's Roman Fort. So between here and there, we've got 10 miles of real tough up and down slogs. But you're going to see some really cool parts of the wall. You'll also see where Sycamore Gap used to be. Sadly, thankfully, I have seen it in all its glory in the past. But yeah, so that's not standing anymore, but that's the point we're going to stop at, or pass, sorry. And then yeah, we'll see the highest point of Hadrian's Wall on this part as well, which is where the trig is. And don't forget, if you're enjoying my journey along Hadrian's Wall, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It's totally free to subscribe to the channel. And if you're wondering why I'm out and about on Hadrian's Wall, because obviously most of my videos are in Eryri and Snowdonia, ultimately my channel is right nice places, and Hadrian's Wall is a right nice place to visit. But that's not the only reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I enjoy the walk, but I'm doing it for my own mental health, as well as raising awareness for CALM, which is the campaign against living miserably. And I have been living miserably, you know, and those guys have helped me out. And the last few months, it's just been battling with family court to get access to my kids. It's ridiculous. It's the most biased system I've ever known in my life. And the stress of it, do you know, 200 kids a day lose contact with the fathers thanks to the family court in Britain. 200 a day. Outrageous. And 80 men dying every week through suicide, with 75% of that being child access issues. I mean, at what point do the government look into that? And they won't, will they? Because it's a great money-making scam for them. They absolutely adore it. Because every institution you've got to use to battle to get your kids costs you money, and that money goes in the government's back pocket, because they're all government departments. And for women, the incentive to not let you see your children is a financial one, because for every night my daughter spends with me, my ex-partner loses money. So it's in her interests to not let me have Elsie. That way she gets more money off me every month. But it's not in Elsie's interest, and it's not in my interest. 75% of kids are less likely to have mental health issues later on in life with a stable father figure in their life. 75%. It's mental. And I have to question, and we should all question, if a man has to go to court to see his children, then the kids are probably with the wrong parent. It's disgusting. So that's why I walk, for my mental health, because I'll be honest, from what's been going on the last 15 months, there have been times when you think, fuck it, is it all worth it? And you have these dark thoughts, and then the mountains tell me, of course it's fucking worth it. Get up here and enjoy the outdoors. See what the world's got to offer, more than the inside of a courtroom, and more than the inside of your own head, which is the worst kind of prison to be in, you know. It's important to get out because, sorry, there's too many dads like me fucking struggling. So do something about it, Mr. Government people, instead of taking all this bloody money from us. And if you know somebody who's keeping their children away from the father for no reason, now don't get me wrong, there are bad people out there who do bad things to children, but that's not the majority, is it? So if you've got a friend who laughs about how much child maintenance she gets off the dad but doesn't let them see the kids, then don't be the friend, because they're child abusers. Parental alienation is child abuse, domestic abuse, and it should be a criminal abuse. You should be charged for it. Anyway, that's why I do this channel. That, and obviously to, you know, dysgu Cymraeg, learn Welsh along the way, but not now because we're in England. And I'd like to tell you about the myths and the history of my home in Eryri. But today we're studying the history of England, and I'm going to go because this hill is steep and I'm getting out of breath. I'll speak to you again when we're near the top. An old Roman turret on the tops up here, looking out to the barren wastelands of Scotland, or what it was back then. I don't mean now Scotland, I love you. But look at that. Imagine being from the Mediterranean and being sent to this place. Fucking, you'd be gutted. Okay, it's now honestly day 2, or maybe, you know, day 2 for me. If you was doing it in 4 or 5 days, this might be day 3 for you. I think for most it is day 3. But it's when it feels like you're walking along a Roman wall, because look, for miles and miles behind me now, it's just wall. And when you look behind me, you can really see the shape of the landscape now. You can see the different ditches, you can see the military road that the troops were used to go up and down behind the wall. Fascinating, really fascinating. But you have to be, you know, you have to be 50 mile into the walk before you get to this stage. So, I mean, you could drive to these points, but for the walk, day 2 by far is the best so far. In fact, I know it's going to be the best, because day 3 will be leaving the countryside and heading into Newcastle, really. So yeah, this is definitely the best of the wall so far. Still not up to Sycamore Gap. We'll be coming up to that very soon. Not that there's a tree there for you to see anymore. But yeah, slowing down a little bit now, sort of averaging about 3 miles an hour at the minute. Just up these hills. It's definitely the hardest part, this. You're up and down, and they're not big hills, they're not massive. Certainly not like what I'm used to at home, but up and down zaps your energy, doesn't it? Especially with the rucksack on. Oh, but look at it. And over there, it's just mad, isn't it, to think the other side of this wall would have been the end of an empire, you know, this was the frontier. Mad, isn't it? Brilliant though. Hello everybody, I'm halfway through today's walk. It's bloody windy, but I thought I'd just stop to show you where I am. This is the highest point. I'm at the trig point. This is the highest point of Hadrian's Wall. So hopefully most of it will be downhill, although I have still got steel rig, the little bugger, to do just yet. But remember, we're trying to sponsor. I left this morning, we've got up to £464, which is awesome. And I'm doing all of this for CALM, for the Campaign Against Living Miserably, for people like Jason Yearsley, who were, sadly, his mum Janet got in touch with me, and she lost her son to suicide. You know, he left behind 4 children. We need to put a stop to it, guys. So please help CALM, and please help me, because I could do with a bit more sponsorship today for the motivation. It's bloody cold, it's bloody wet, and I've gone up and down more hills than the grand old Duke of York. So sponsor and click the link. Oh, look at this, you can just see the wall going on now behind me. Sorry if the sound's not great, but the wind is super carnage up here. But you should be able to see behind me that sort of iconic shot of Hadrian's Wall just going off into the distance, you know, and that's what I'm following. I'm going up another hill. It's a killer this day too. Oh, I'll be glad when these hills are over. But anyway, you should see it all, and it's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And if the camera follows me around, you see right behind me, and the wall going right on in front of me as well. But just total isolation. If you are going to do this walk, you need to make sure you're prepared for Gilsland to sort of Chollerford, because there's not a lot in between. But look at that iconic shot there behind you. There, every little hill where you can see the wall that I've gone up and down so far, and there's been 10 mile of that. Absolute killer. So be prepared for day 2. So I'm about 17 miles in now to day 2, and I'm feeling it, I'm not going to lie. My feet are starting to ache, my shoulders are aching, so I've just stopped for a moment just to have a bit of a rest really. And not only that, I needed to charge up some of my electricals. Even my Garmin watch was starting to run low on battery, so I've just stopped for a second. Oh, I'll probably stop for about 15 minutes. I'm contemplating to brew up now as well, get the old jet boil out of a brew. I've stopped at Housestead, so the biggest part of the walk I've just done. Whoa, it's a difficult one. Whatever way you do Hadrian's Wall, however many days you do it, if you are doing the full length and you're not like sort of taxiing in between towns and doing circulars, if you're doing the full length, the killer of the walk, and I knew it before I did it, but Gilsland to where I am now at Housestead's Roman fort, my God. I was speaking to a local lad, he's like, oh yeah, we call them the Three Sisters, and you've got 3 mini mountains to conquer. And in between each one is these sort of Teletubby hills that are just a couple of, 100, maybe 150 metres over and then down and over and down. Absolute nightmare. So I'm having a good rest here for 10 minutes, to be honest, because that was a killer. For me, on in, the walk should be much simpler. I've got a little bit more hill walking to do, only a little, and then we're going to go down in towards Chollerford, which is where I'm going to camp for the night. But if you are going to do this walk, I strongly recommend you start in Bowness, because you always have the wind to your back, which is nice. But there you go, so I'm going to brew up now. Almost. Currently walking on the wrong side of the wall. To give you an idea, look at the size of the ditch you would have had to run up. So flat, 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 huge ditch. Look at the steepness of that. Then be able to attack a wall. Romans were pretty good at what they did, weren't they? Fair play. So, hello everybody. I have made it to a place called Chollerford, which is whereabouts nearby I'm going to be camping tonight. So I'm on 27 miles now. If I'm honest, I'm feeling pretty shagged out. I'm ready to stop. I just need to find somewhere in the vicinity that I can pitch the tent for the night. So yes, that's what we're going to do now. But in the meantime, look at this bridge that I'm on. Look at these views. Absolutely beautiful. Oh. Yeah, so I'm in Chollerford. Oh. And the field that I'd seen on my map looks to be full of livestock, so that's not going to be a goer. I don't know if them woods down there will be any good, but we'll figure it out. I'll have a look around. But anyway, have a look at Chollerford. So hello everybody, I have made it to the end of another day. I'm slightly limping a little bit, walking a bit like I've soiled oneself, but I've done it. I've got to the end of my second day in Chollerford, or Chollerford, I can never pronounce it, but thank you to everybody who sponsored. This morning I said, let's try and get above 500 quid before I finish today's walk. And we've got to 519 quid, so thank you very much indeed. And I'm just going to show you Chollerford, and you may wonder why I'm looking so damn fresh. Well, I had a bit of a surprise when I got Chollerford today. When I rolled into town, my father and my son Harvey were both waiting for me in this beautiful place. So we thought, well, I'll not sleep in a tent now. Mainly because, if I'm honest, I'm destroyed after today. It's been a big up and down hill day, and I'm feeling pretty knackered. You know, my left knee's giving me jippers that to be strapped up, and my shins are killing me. So yeah, so we've ended up booking into here for the night. So I get to have a shower, which is great. So yes, I'm not wild camping, but I've still done 60 miles in 2 days, and I think that deserves a shower and a comfy bed. And the other reason is the camp field I was supposed to go into is full of livestock, so I didn't fancy really being trampled to death. But anyway, keep giving, keep sharing, and keep following me on this trail for calm. Thank you very much. And to everybody else raising money for calm, keep going. We're all doing a great job and helping suicide prevention in this country. Thank you very much. So there we go, day 2 at an end. Another 27.38 miles clocked in, which brings my total to exactly 61 miles for the last 2 days going across Hadrians. I'll be honest, day 2, absolute slog. There were times when I just didn't think I could carry on. It was really hard. Now, it's not that the path is particularly difficult, but you are up and down and up and down and up and down. And with weight on your back, it's not good. It's not good. But on the flip side, hard work does pay off, because although it's the most strenuous part of Hadrian's Wall on day 2, it's also by far the most satisfying. The amount of stuff that you get to see, the mile castles, the wall in all its glory. Yeah, brilliant. Now, maybe don't do what I did today and do Brampton to Chollerford, because incredibly long distance that. I'd maybe break it up into 2 days. So you've actually got time to enjoy the walls. As I said, I've done the walk before and I did it in 5, and it was much nicer over them tops. You didn't feel as knackered, but also you got time to explore the castles and stuff. So great places to wild camp as well. But other than that, this has been the end of day 2. I look forward to you liking, subscribing and sharing so we can see you at the start and end of day 3.